All right, we're live. Check the mic. Instant reaction. Thursday night football. Patriots get the win 27-14 over the Jets. Patriots move to 9-2 now. Winning streak continues, and the 2-game winning streak for the Jets it ends here. They're done.
Does not.
And
Yeah.
Jets got up early. You and I both made Service Academy references to the Jets on social media tonight. I noticed that. One good social Service Academy drive for the Jets, and then that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of felt like they felt like a Service Academy when the Service Academy plays like a good team, and the Service Academy is just like completely overmatched across the board. And it's like at some point, probably quite early, you're going to have to try and pass the ball, and you can't pass the ball because you're a triple option team. So now you're just in hell, and it's only going to go south from there. That's the Jets. Like they have this offense that almost seems like to go out of its way to try and prevent Justin Fields just even attempting a pass, right? Let's run the ball. Let's use read option. Let's do end arounds. Let's do every trick run we can think of under the sun. So much so that the defense will just forget that there's the threat of the pass at all. And then maybe we'll get a couple of cheap completions. But then as soon as they're in a hole, it's like, well, now what do? We can't actually pass the ball. There's no way.
While we're talking about the Jets, to be fair, a few of the good throws that Justin Fields did make did go the way of A.D. Mitchell. Couple just misses there. I think probably 2 accurate passes that got dropped. Another one of those back shoulders. Maybe it's underthrown. Maybe A.D. Mitchell's running the route to the wrong depth. Who knows? Every time he runs a vertical route, I wonder. And the one catch that he had was a slant. Yeah. And I'm thinking back to his time in Indy. I don't think he ran any slants. I'm like, that's a tough one to screw up. They always ran them on verticals, right? And how many times was it like, I think you ran it too deep. I think you're going, running a go and it's supposed to be a stop or vice versa. Maybe just run more slants for AD. He was 1 for 6 when targeted.
Yeah, I mean, this was a rough game for A.D. Mitchell, even by his standards. But there was like in the first half, Justin Fields had 3 incompletions and they were all on targets to A.D. Mitchell, including that deep bomb, like the best pass he had in the game, put it in his hands and it went straight through his hands. Like, there's a reason that when a bunch of Jets tape people were sort of celebrating, hey, look at this guy, he's wide open all the time. You're like, yeah, but it's only half the story with A.D. Mitchell. There's other elements there that mean the Colts are happy to get rid of him. And I think you're seeing some of that. Like he's, again, the back shoulder thing, the kind of, was that like a slot fade, whatever it was, where it was like a back shoulder. It's like, it could be either of them, right? But it almost doesn't matter. It's just that he's always involved, whether or not it's his fault. He's always at the heart of those things.
And so obviously the story of the game, though, New England taking care of business once again, looking good on both sides of the ball. They did get run all over on the first drive by the Jets. Then they settled in, and offensively, another really solid game from Drake Maye. He finishes 25 of 34 for 281 and a touchdown. This was the first game he started, threw a few incompletions down the field. Some of his incompletions, couple drops, got away with one that probably should have been picked that hung up there. He was off on a couple of those downfield throws. But overall, I think another game where he only gets sacked 1 time, maneuvering the pocket, stepping up, making plays on the move. I think you saw a little bit of everything on the good side from Drake Maye tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he looks really, really good, making some ridiculous plays. In particular, the only sacked 1 time thing, I mean, he was under pressure quite a lot in the pocket. That was not a comfortable pocket for him all night, and he was able to maneuver, step up, jump around pressure, and still find places to go with the football. I think he looked pretty spectacular. Stephon Diggs had a nice night. Mac Hollins made some good plays. Drake Maye, I mean, he missed a couple of passes, and that deep shot that fluttered up there kind of looked like a Peyton Manning deep ball. There's the wobbly thing that just hung up in the air. That was definitely dangerous, and that was a touchdown that was there for Kyle Williams that he missed. But yeah, I think overall he looks pretty spectacular still.
And maybe Maye's best throw, he did hit Mac Hollins in the hands. It was a late pass breakup for what probably should have been another 50-yarder in there. And, he still finishes with 281 at 8.3 yards per attempt. And again, a lot of those passes were there's a mix of in rhythm, multiple reads, outside the pocket. He did the little scramble drill flick where you draw in a defender. So you're seeing, I think, a comfort level with Maye. I see people in the chat talking about the game slowing down for him. I think that's absolutely the case.
Yeah.
Not to oversimplify, but just the sack totals going from 5 or 6 down to 1 the last couple games. I think that's a good sign, even if the completion percentage is coming down just a little bit. So he's still throwing the ball accurately for the most part. Very efficient when he's throwing, not taking some of those negative plays. I think probably just the one turnover worthy play here tonight. And so, yeah, another really clean game for Drake Maye.
Yeah, I mean, the game slowing down. Plus, again, I think the huge difference between him now and him in college and then rookie years, he's not like he's cleaned up all the inefficiency. Like even in college, he left a lot on the table in terms of just basic misses. He's not doing that anymore. He's extremely accurate. He's not leaving an awful lot on the table at all, and he's maintained, the high level stuff. So he's looking. I mean, people are talking MVP, the chance of MVP. It's all fair. I mean, he's in that conversation. Whether or not he ends up winning the award at the end of the season is immaterial right now. The point is he's 23 years old, halfway through his second season. He absolutely deserves to be in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, whether it's the award or whatever it might be, he is. I mean, just to back up a little bit, I mean, Maye and Caleb Williams was the debate before Jaden Daniels broke out and won the Heisman. That was the debate for a minute about who was going to go number one overall. Maye slowed down a touch his final season, goes number 3 overall, but it wasn't like, the Giants wanted him for a reason. The Patriots stayed put at number 3 for a reason. And now, much like I think you saw the optimism in Washington for Jaden Daniels, you have that same thing for Drake Maye. Maybe Caleb Williams is on his way. I know Bears fans are definitely optimistic, so it's moving in that direction. So, yeah, it's looking like the top 3 players, you're feeling good about all of them. But Maye playing the best out of that entire group right now. And I always loved the way he threw the ball down the field, had the ability to make big-time throws. And as you say, when he's hitting the easy stuff, and there's stuff that's, quote, easy, like short passes, even just some of the simple checkdowns that he had today and turning what could have been a sack or what could have been a negative play into just a 3 or 4 yard completion. Those little things are adding up. And I think that's why Maye's completing like 73, 74% of his passes, whatever it is. Just incredibly efficient so far this season for Drake Maye. And that's why you get the MVP chance for him or Travion Henderson. We don't know who the MVP chance were for.
Well, that's true.
After that touchdown pass.
And Travion Henderson, like another big story out of the game. I mean, it may have been just because they've been forced into it, but the Patriots are now using him as a bell cow running back. He played 90% of their snaps in this game. The first time that's happened for any Patriots running back in a while. And I mean, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air. Second week in a row where he's had multiple touchdowns. Second week in a row where he's looked dynamic, explosive, and by far their best running back. I don't know why they were screwing around for the first few weeks of the season and not just putting him on the field, but evidently he should be there.
I mean, even tonight, though, there's still a bunch of runs to nowhere for I'm a huge Travion fan, by the way. I thought his 2 best runs, 2 of his 3 best runs were the touchdowns. He did have the 1 receiving touchdown, which was a great play. There are still a lot of runs where, he's only getting 1 or 2, and maybe there's not enough there, but you'd like to see him, finish a little bit better, turn 1 or 2 into 3 or 4. I think that's part of the reason. And he did mess up in pass protection a few times earlier in the season. So I think there's reasons for the why. And this happens with rookie running backs a lot. Even Jahmyr Gibbs, his rookie season, they had David Montgomery who was playing well. So it's not like you needed to force Jahmyr Gibbs into the lineup. But we all said, hey, few more touches. That guy's so dynamic. I think we're getting to that point with Travion Henderson where he's going to have at least these opportunities. And now it's going to be on him to at least do a little bit better with the 3, 4, 5 yard gains, get what's there. But the more touches you give him, if he's a 20, 25 touch type of guy, he has a chance to break one. And in this game, it wasn't breaking one, but, 3 touchdowns and, that'll do it for the Patriots. So they're looking pretty good. Again, they're not going to be tested a ton for the next couple of weeks. Get the mini bye coming up. The big ones that they're looking at, I think they're coming to Cincinnati next week. Then they have the Giants on Monday Night Football, then a bye week. It's Bills and Ravens in December. Mid-December with the Bills, most likely the AFC East on the line in that one, and then Baltimore. Then they finish with the Jets and the Dolphins. So they're only really challenged 2 more times. We're liable to get into the playoffs and say, see what happened with if they swept the Bills, we'll say, hey, they've beaten some teams. But like if they split with the Bills or they lose the Bills and Ravens games, we're going to see this New England team with 12 wins or whatever and be like, do we really trust them when they face these best teams in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, the Bills and the Ravens team, the Bills and the Ravens game, particularly if Baltimore continues to go on a run and looks legit for a while, that I think will tell us something. But like we were saying, they've already secured a winning season, right? Like they can't have a losing season now. They've already got to 9 wins. We were saying before the year that this team had one of the broadest ranges of outcomes of any team in the NFL. All of the young players could be terrible and they might suck again, or they could all come together and they might be a pretty good football team. But even then, the high end of that was like 11 wins, make the playoffs, maybe threaten the Bills for the division, but probably a wild card team. I mean, they might have 11 wins before they face the Bills for the second time. Even if they lose those 2 games, they could be a 13-win team, having dropped the game to Buffalo and Baltimore. But like if they win one or both of those games, I mean, number one, their record will probably be like stupid running into the playoffs. They might have the number 1 seed at that point. But like that, those 2 games are basically their opportunity to show that the schedule is absolutely soft. They have an incredibly easy run relative to the other teams. They are playing the game on easy mode relative to a lot of other sides, but in effectively the 3 games that they played against legit opposition, 4 if you count Tampa Bay, but Buffalo twice and then Baltimore, if they've gone 3-0 in those games, you can say it's still for real. Like it's clearly inflated, but when they face better teams, they have beaten them. And that's their opportunity.
Yeah, and we've said all year, it's like, just don't slip up. Don't slip up. Well, they haven't. They've won, 7 straight now after starting 1-2. And by the way, that one loss to the Steelers, that was a bunch of bad turnovers on the goal line. Like you're close to having a 1-loss team here right now. So I know that works both ways. What?
Remember, when a loss to the Patriots in week 1 ended up being the thing that kept Cincinnati out of the playoffs last year. Like it's not going to happen for the Patriots because they're rolling, but like this team lost to the Raiders in week 1. Like week 1, just chuck out week 1 as irrelevant. It shouldn't even count for standings. It's just complete randomness.
And we thought, and maybe it still is, the Jets going head to head with the Steelers and in a shootout, like a shootout with the Steelers was one of the oddest week 1 games. Looking back, the way the Raiders have been playing, like the Raiders looked like a really good, competent team in week 1, and looked like they were going to be the feisty team that we thought, and it has not been the case. The Jets for this first drive, that was the Jets team I expected this season, right? They're just gonna, Justin Fields keepers. They had a disrespectful run on 3rd and 5. Aaron Glenn bringing it from Detroit. One of those teams, if they could run the ball 40 times for 220 and just compress the game, that they could steal some wins. They just haven't. They've done it in spurts, but they just haven't done it enough.
But the reason that I expected them to be feisty with that type of game plan is because I assumed that off the back of that, Justin Fields would still be able to pass the football at a relatively competent level, even if it's not impressive, even if it's limited. And, there are some problems with it. That type of rushing success should lead him to having all kinds of easy button passes. And he's just fallen apart as a passer. I mean, he basically is non-functional at the moment as a passing quarterback. And I say that despite the bomb to A.D. Mitchell that's in there that he doesn't get credit for, but should, and a couple of other passes here or there. It's just there's no coherence to it. It's all just ad-lib chaos. I mean, most of the way through the game, somewhere deep into the 4th quarter, Herbstreit was like, that's their best play. Drop back pass, nothing's on, and he just takes off scrambling. Like, number 1, he's right, and that's worrying in itself. And number 2, that's insane. Obviously, Garrett Wilson's not in the game. He's their number 1 receiver, but like, it's actually insane how far he's dropped off and just become a completely non-functional passing quarterback. Like that's why it looks like a service academy. They're running an offense that looks like one of these triple option teams when they suddenly have to pass the football. And like the triple option quarterback who's usually running on the perimeter is like drop back passing, heaving it to the 6'4" guy they've got outside. It's like, this isn't an offense. This is just desperation measures.
And you're right. Like if he could just be a little bit better as a passer, they ran a speed option on 3rd down. They, had some just straight up zone read keepers. Like you've got some Fields had a couple incredible runs too. A couple times he was bottled up for looked like no gain and he turned it into a first down, like some incredible high effort runs. You're still just missing that timing in the pass game. And look, if there was any other quarterback that we were expecting more from the pass game, we would probably give the excuse. Like if Aaron Rodgers was still here, we'd be like, well, he's thrown to AD Mitchell, who just got here. He's thrown to John Mechie, or all season. He's only got Garrett Wilson. So like that is true. But still it's been a just below average passing attack in some games where it's really just non-functional from a drop back game. I think the Jets are doing the right thing, seeing what they have in Mechie, seeing what they have in AD Mitchell. It doesn't hurt to put him out there and, take your lumps. It's just a matter of, do you think by year 3, a guy like AD Mitchell can right some of those wrongs and find a way to be productive, but for the rest of the season, doesn't hurt to see which guys can be a part of the rebuild, as I always like to say.
Yeah, of course. Plus, they don't really have any alternatives at the moment.
Right.
They're already forced into those guys. But yeah, like they signaled the rebuild. As soon as they traded away 2 of their best players, the signs were up that this is about next year and beyond. So at that point, all you're doing is effectively cycling through everybody on your roster and seeing who should still be in the building next year.
All right. What's Hagel's talking about? My a lighting issue? Do I have a lighting issue? Is that what he was talking about?
Yeah, we got to fix the light over your head. Not right now in the studio.
Oh, I thought I had something going on here. I mean, I don't have the best background, but anyway, New England gets the win. They're 9-2, 27-14 over the Jets. Anything else, Sam?
No, I think we're out for the week.
Good job. You had a chip on your shoulder all week, brought it. You did a good job. That's what you do. Appreciate everybody.
At a DIT. Dublin.
Thanks for everybody. To everybody for tuning in. We've got instant reaction Sunday night. Check out memberships, hit subscribe, do all the things. Check the mic. We'll see you Sunday night after the